Hello, everybody. Would like to welcome you back to the bookshelf after about a month of being away. We'd like to apologize for that, but between various things going on, between including myself being away for two of those, and you know,
I was gone for a couple.
yep, we're
hmm
we're, we're finally back. So, but yeah, with today's episode, you know, usually the bookshelf would be full of merriment and enjoyment, but today, today's episode is one that's gonna sting, especially for Gen X's.
hmm
In this episode, we're gonna be talking about the tragic passing of both Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan in the past week.
They say it comes in threes.
Yes, but if you're of a certain age, you'll definitely have grown up with Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan in some capacity.
In some way, shape, or form, you've heard at least one, if not both of them.
Yes.
If you haven't heard of
So,
either of them,
so for
you haven't
Ozzy
heard of
Osbourne, I think it's safe to say, you know, he he was born in 1948 as John Michael Osborne. He held various careers over his lifetime. Ranging from a slaughterman to working in a factory and many more jobs beside. And I think he's most famous in the '70s as being the front man for Black Sabbath. Yeah, we've all heard Paranoid, we've all heard War Pigs, we've all heard Symptom of the Universe, Children of the Grave. Until he was sadly fired in 1979 for his various drug-related escapades
mm,
before embarking in a very successful solo career. From 1980 to now. Well, 2024. He's had a massive solo career. And aside from the music, he's had numerous TV and movie appearances over the years. Whether we've, heard his voice in movies like Trolls or seen him in Little Nicky.
hmm or his brief role in the game Brutal Legend.
Exactly. Or even the hit MTV fly on the wall TV series, The Osbournes.
I mean, I've heard of it, but I never actually sat down and.
You see, The Osbournes, it was a very hit reality TV series because you know the Osbournes they opened the doors of their mansion to this MTV film crew, and we got to see the lives of the Osbourne family.
hmm
Where reality TV should stay out of your home.
Yeah, but you got to think, this was what early 2000s MTV where Cribs was,
I think that they
yeah,
also had like Nick Carter was around this time where they did like his house and his family. Like I think it was called like House of Carters or something. It was
yeah,
around the same time.
yeah, you got MTV Cribs where musicians and celebrities opened the doors of their mansion to film crews and people walked around their houses. And the other thing as well, which was really popular at this point, was obviously that Teen Mom and 16 and Pregnant, which, you know, opened up the door, the reality TV door to, the private lives of average teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and if you think about, the way Ozzy Osbourne was, I mean, you've probably also seen the clips and the memes, of, Ozzy sat there with a remote in his hand, and there's the phone's ringing in the background. He just looks around and is like, what the hell was that? Or him yelling at the cat that's trying to eat his chicken.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Ozzy. Let's be real. Ozzy. He's left his mark on not just the music world, but also pop culture world. Yeah, and I think it's also as well. There was numerous Ozzy parodies, pastiches, and all that throughout history. And of course, where Ozzy also blends over is Ozzy appeared on WWE TV multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Where he eventually became a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he appeared at WrestleMania 2, I believe it was, with I think it was Captain Lou Albano as part of the whole rock and wrestling era. And then I believe "I Don't Want to Stop" became the theme to WWE Vengeance 2008.
And then I think sometime like years ago, he did the song for one of the big pay-per-views.
Yeah. To be brutally honest, and I'm saying this, I was at the Back to the Beginning concert a couple of weeks ago on the what would be now the 4th of July weekend, and I still cannot believe. Not only was I a part of music history that day, but then 3 weeks later, he tragically passed away.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, and this is just me talking, it still doesn't feel real.
I mean, considering you just saw him in concert, what, 3 weeks ago?
hmm I was there Saturday, the 5th of July, all day, cheering that Back to the Beginning concert, you know, watching all these acts, and then the final two being Ozzy doing a solo set, and then obviously the finale being Black Sabbath.
The question is, did you get any merch?
Yeah, I did. I pre-ordered a T-shirt and a couple of T-shirts and a tour program, which obviously I'm keeping for if I ever have kids or grandkids. At least then I can officially turn around to them and say I was officially a part of heavy metal history.
It's a sad, sad day.
Yeah, I mean, I think you cannot underestimate the impact Ozzy had, not on music in general. And sort of being this figurehead for the rebels, the freaks, the weirdos.
And in WWE, you forgot one thing: the
Hmm.
degenerate.
Yes, he was a degenerate, and degenerates the world over. And he sort of had this, that with him for 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many people can we say had a near on constant impact on the on movies, TV, and music in almost 50 years? So I'm gonna say, I know it's not alcohol and we legally can't do it on stream, but Ozzy, this is for you, man.
Cheers, mate. A long may the name Ozzy Osbourne continue.
It probably will, considering how popular he was.
Yeah. There's a lyric in a song he released in 2020 called "Ordinary Man," and it just sort of hits a bit harder now. Yeah. It- I'll find this lyric because it is just. Here we go. Many times I've lost control. They try to kill my rock and roll. Just remember, I'm still here for you. I don't want to say goodbye, but when I do, you'll be alright. After all, I did it all for you. Don't forget me as the colors fade. When the lights go down, it's just an empty stage. Okay. It just feels different now.
It does hit different.
Yeah, it does, man.
It is that last part of the verse where it says, I don't want to say goodbye, but when I do, you'll be alright. After all, I did it all for you. Okay. Ooh. But the chorus line, it also reads, yes, I've been a bad guy, been higher than the blue sky. The truth is, I don't want to die an ordinary man.
Hmm.
I've made grown men cry. I don't know why I'm still alive. But yes, the truth is, I don't want to die an ordinary man. And all I'm going to say to that is, Ozzy, you did not die an ordinary man.
No.
You
Mhm.
were about as far from an ordinary man as you could physically get. Yeah, I mean, between his music, his antics, we will all miss Ozzy.
Mhm.
And I think, no matter how much of a fan or how much or as little you knew of Ozzy, he definitely left his mark on everybody's lives.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of leaving a mark on people's lives, let's talk about perhaps the biggest name in professional wrestling that ever walked that aisle and got in the squared circle. The immortal Hulk Hogan. Exactly.
Gotta do it.
Hulkamania, it ran wild for 50 years easily, didn't
Many
it?
companies too.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that, started his career in the 70s and 80s in Florida, Japan.
I just saw a thing like IGWP or whatever.
Yep,
He held the first version of their title.
exactly. He was that was New Japan Pro Wrestling. He went to the WWF and in the mid 80s and I think, cemented his career.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like Ozzy, he was a guy that not only transcended the ring, he made his way into TV shows, movies, comic books. Yeah, even the world of music. Yeah, his own short-lived Pastamania pasta shop. This is a guy, I mean, even if it wasn't just like Hulk Hogan appearing, there was a Hulk Hogan parody. He's that recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a guy who, made a bunch of movies in the 80s and 90s. I mean, so we've all probably seen Suburban Commando at some point or Mr. Nanny.
Mm-hmm.
We've probably all seen his cameo in Gremlins. He was in Gremlins too, the new batch.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I probably
Because if you remember, there's that scene where the Gremlins are terrorizing a theater. They stop the movie. Hulk Hogan gets up, tears the shirt, and tells them to put that movie back on.
Ah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to argue. What, and I think what is the most iconic version of the Hulkster.
Oh.
I think, let's be honest, a lot of people would argue it is the classic red and yellow of the 80s.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
a toss up between the red and yellow of the 80s or the black and white of the NWO.
yeah, but, you just think, how iconic it was hearing real American Hulk Hogan walking down to the ring, often with the title around his waist. Yeah, the classic walk around the ring. Yeah, the listening to the crowd, the tearing of the shirt, the crowd going absolutely nuts.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
you see somebody tearing their shirt, you'd probably be like, "What?"
And then obviously, him getting into the match, the heel getting the upper hand, and then him hulking up. We all remember that, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
The heel throwing those punches, Hulk just those blows no longer having the effect till he just stares at them and yo.
The standing boot to the face.
Yeah. then the atomic leg drop. Yeah, and who could forget those 1980s feuds? Like Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, King Kong Bundy, the Iron Sheik, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
And you can't forget the tag team with the other Macho Man Randy Savage.
Exactly, the Mega Powers. Yeah, and then him leaving the WWF in the early 90s, going to WCW. Starting off as American made. Before, obviously, the infamous heel turn, becoming the third man in the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
And, that again was an iconic era for Hulk Hogan, really.
Oh, yeah.
Because, let's be real. Did anybody really expect Hulk Hogan to turn heel and become a villain for several years?
And he's probably one of the only people in wrestling to make a heel so popular and stay like that for years. It's hard to do that these days.
Yeah, again, he was, yeah. It's difficult to really say anything about Hulk Hogan's impact on professional wrestling, whether it was WWF, WCW, TNA.
And then don't forget his hosting gig for American Gladiator.
Exactly. The 2008 reboot, which he did with I think it was Bruce Lee's daughter.
No, Muhammad Ali's
Muhammad
daughter.
Ali's daughter, yeah. Yeah, like I said, that he transcended wrestling to be, you know, and to think, if you think, he also popularized the, phrases like "What you gonna do, brother?"
Hmm.
and
I
Hulk.
remember one of my favorite moments. I forget who the opposite team was, but it was John Cena, Shawn Michaels against other people, and they announced, and Cena was on the mic, and our the third member, and then call Hulk Hogan, and everybody's losing their mind.
Yeah,
And then after the match, him and Cena posing next to each other.
doing the classic Hulk Hogan pose down. And let's also be real. Let's not forget the classic the WrestleMania Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, when the two icons of each generation butting heads.
Hmm. And that was basically the match where he turned babyface again, didn't he? After the match.
Yeah, and it was one of them ones where neither guy really wanted to go over, but as soon as the crowd started pumping for Hogan, that's when they decided that's it. Rock's going heel.
No, I think he stayed babyface for a while.
No, but Rock turned heel in the match, hence why he did all that thing with whipping Hogan with his own weight belt. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, just to get the crowd. And that's the thing, when even The Rock, it, arguably at the peak of his career in 2002, 2003, you know, was getting booed against Hulk Hogan. What can you do?
Hmm.
And then the big question I think everybody will have to ask at that also point in time is, was he Mr. America? We shall never know the truth.
Well, we all know one thing. He's up there with Mean Gene.
Yep. It's, I mean, yeah, if you grew up in the 80s, 80s and 90s, this is like literally the hardest week, losing Ozzy and Hulk Hogan in such a short space of time.
And with no dig, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yep,
Can't forget
exactly.
him.
True. Theo Huxtable from the Cosby Show.
Mm.
I mean, like I said, it's you know, would wrestling really be as impact where it is today if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan?
Honestly, no one.
Yeah, it's the way a lot of people always argue. Without Hulk Hogan in 1985, we would not have guys like John Cena, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, The Rock, Triple H.
Hmm.
And Hulk Hogan again. He's a guy that could literally sell anything out, or just based on his name alone. There was that period from like literally 85 to 88 where Hulk Hogan's face could be put on TV Guide, and it would be the biggest selling copy of TV Guide that week.
Yeah.
So, Dreamer, I noticed you've been rather quiet for the last 28 minutes. Have you anything to really say about any of this?
I mean, I knew who Hulk Hogan was, but I don't have enough to like say a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh, and of course,
you and Gamer know a lot more than I do.
I mean, fair play, fair play. I mean, the other thing as well is obviously Hulk Hogan did join in that 2000s reality TV show thing by having Hogan Knows Best.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah, I forgot about that show, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the children of the 80s, the Gen Xers, have had to take this week off work just because of, they're in mourning.
Hmm.
It's been a tough week for them. I'm not gonna lie.
They do say it comes in threes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why a lot of people have said, can we please keep an eye on David Attenborough and Tom Baker, please?
Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
Can we like put a hedge of protection around him?
can we someone keep an eye on Dick Van Dyke, Tom Baker?
Mel Brooks.
Yeah, Mel Brooks. Yeah, David Attenborough, because I mean he's a guy that again everybody knows.
I'm
Because
like,
I mean,
who's
if you
next? Sadly, who's next?
don't, so we're trying to say we're not trying to jinx it.
I don't want
like I
that
said,
juju on me.
no, I'm just again in shock that literally within a matter of days we lost two of the biggest, arguably the biggest names of the '80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in terms of entertainment, whether it was through Ozzy Osbourne and heavy metal and Hulk Hogan and wrestling.
And then didn't we lose somebody who used to play on the Cosby Show?
Yeah, that's what we said.
I just mentioned them briefly.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we lost him. So there we go. There's the three.
Yep. I mean, you've also had Chuck Mangione,
That's true.
who's an
Yeah,
American jazz musician. I must admit, I've never heard of Chuck Mangione.
I've heard of him, but I'm not really familiar with his work.
Yeah, same with the guy who played Theo Huxtable in
The Cosby Show.
The Cosby Show. Yeah, I'm aware of his work in The Cosby Show.
Didn't he play in like other things too?
Oh, yeah, but I couldn't. Sadly, I couldn't
He looked
pick him out.
familiar.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I'm trying to remember what all did he, because he looked really familiar.
Yep. Was it Malcolm Jamal Warner? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He apparently died in Costa Rica.
Wow.
I mean, if you're gonna go, I guess pick some place tropical.
Wait, isn't that where? Wait, isn't that where Jurassic Park is?
I don't know. He was in The Resident and he played in Suits.
Ah.
He also played on Malcolm and Eddie and Read Between the Lines. I was like, he looked really familiar. Trying to see if he was in any movies. I mostly knew him from like TV shows. He was apparently in Fool's Gold. He was on Saturday Night Live, but a lot of people have been on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
He was on Matlock. Interesting. He was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ah. Interesting.
He apparently played himself / Eric. He was on the Magic School Bus.
I mean, the other thing as well with Hulk Hogan, he had numerous endorsements over the years. Whether it was the like I said, the Pastamania restaurant. There was the George Foreman, the blender he made,
Oh yeah.
the which he called the Hulk Hogan Thunder Mixer.
I mean, if it works.
He also had his own version of the George Foreman called the Ultimate Grill. In 2006, he had his own brand of energy drinks called Hogan Energy. And Gamer, guess who distributed it?
Hmm?
A company called Sarco Energy.
Looks like Gamer could use some of that energy drink.
Yeah. Mind you, if you're a wrestling fan, the whole idea of a beverage company called Socko Energy is also quite hilarious. And then obviously there was the whole Hulkster burgers that he had at Walmart.
That's a new one to me.
He at one point he had a line of those microwave cheeseburgers. In 2011, he had his own line of nutritional products called Hogan Nutrition. Plus, he's got a bar in Clearwater called Hogan's Hangout, and then obviously last year he released the Real American Beer.
Man, that didn't.
Hopefully, it's a good beer. I mean, some beers are not good.
Yeah. Plus, he's also appeared in numerous other commercials, like commercials. In 2010, he starred alongside Troy Aikman in a Rent-A-Center advert. He appeared on American Idol.
Mm.
And then, of course, we all remember, Gamer, the infamous Hulk Hogan's Wrecking Ball commercial for GoDaddy. Yes, there was a commercial for GoDaddy where he parodied Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball video.
One of the many people who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, it did feature Hulk Hogan's bare ass as he smashed through a wall on a wrecking ball. Something that nobody had to have seen.
No, I'm kind of glad I didn't see it.
Me too. That would be something you wouldn't be able to unsee. Hulk Hogan's bare ass.
And then obviously there was the whole thing of him setting up his own wrestling promotion with Eric Bischoff. And I mean, with TV, Hulk Hogan's appeared in an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger. He appeared in his obviously his own TV series, Thunder in Paradise, Baywatch. I mean, movies. He was in Rocky 3 as obviously as Thunder Lips. Santa with Muscles, Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain, Muppets from Space. Obviously, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, Suburban Commando, No Holds Barred. So, he's had a massive wrestling career. Plus, obviously, the amount of WWF and WCW and TNA games.
Wow. No,
Hmm?
I kid you guys not. I just pulled up a thing. All this year so far, Hulk Hogan, Rick Derringer, the guy who made Real American Theme, and the Hogan superfan Roddy Hogan all passed away this year.
Yep.
That's sad. We just need to protect Dick Van Dyke. Like, literally, we're not ready for him to go yet.
I think we also, like Gamer already said, we need to protect Mel Brooks as well, and I think we also need to protect Tom Baker.
Yes.
Also, interesting thing is that Hulk Hogan at one point was one of the biggest names for Make a Wish.
That doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Because, I mean, if somebody's wish was something to do with wrestling, I mean, they, of course, would probably reach out to him.
I mean, yeah, given that Hulk Hogan was one of the big, like I said, one of the biggest names in wrestling, and also he was in Saints Row the Third. So there you go.
I mean, any final thoughts on Ozzy and Hulk?
Oh,
Just a damn shame.
The world
yeah,
lost. The world lost two really amazing people.
yeah. Like I said, the two of the biggest names of the '80s, who really defined their particular genre, are gone now, and these are two guys that will never be replaced. Yeah, they couldn't have been they couldn't have been replaced back in the day, and they're not going to be replaced now.
No.
You know, whether you like him or not, there's only ever going to be one Ozzy Osbourne.
Same can be said about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, there's never going to be another Hulk Hogan in terms of what he did for professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he a household name, but he made the WWF a household name. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the only reason we know who these people are, who the name WWF and the name Vince McMahon is because of Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
So, Dreamer, yeah, like I said, you've been rather quiet. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, I feel like that the world has lost two shining stars within, the music community and, the world of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they both accomplished really big things. And they set the stage and helped other people, be able to carve their mark.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just say, Ozzy Osbourne, and back to the beginning, he set a record for the highest grossing charity concert in history now. He's overtaken, USA for Africa. He's overtaken, Live Aid. This was the biggest thing.
I believe it.
Yeah, and 50,000 metalheads raised over $200 million, not only for children's hospitals, but also for Parkinson's research.
Wow. I knew it was high. I didn't know how high it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so, thanks to, Ozzy, Parkinson's research just got a massive boost. And of course, the other thing as well that Ozzy did in the run up, he did a load of interviews for something called The Big Issue, where he raised all this money for for a homelessness charity. So there is that Ozzy had on him before he passed away. And like I said, it feels weird, and in a good way, kind of weird that I'm a part of that history. I'm a part of that legacy.
Mm-hmm.
You get to share that story.
Yeah, and the other thing I think to note is that Ozzy's passing has united music fans across the globe.
Oh yeah.
That's the reach he had. So yeah, I'd like to take a minute just to say, thank you Hulk, thank you Ozzy for everything you've done, for music, for wrestling, for pop culture, for charity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you two will never be forgotten.
Nope.
Yeah, long may your names reign. Unless anyone else has any final thoughts, final eulogies, whatever.
And said all that it needs to be said.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Would just like to say thank you very much for joining us as we, say a few words, and hopefully you'll join us again next time.
Whenever that
Peace.
is.
Yeah. Peace out, guys. Thank you very much.
Later.
See ya.